But how closely is roster spend tied to success on the field? Like for the Revs, right? The Revs are 12th. They missed the playoffs. That to me straight away is okay. 18 teams got in. You were 12th in spending. You were way out of the playoffs. So something obviously has gone wrong here. But is that something that happens, on a regular basis? Or is it more if you spend a lot, you're more likely to end up in a higher place?
I think overall, there's probably some correlation between spending and making the playoffs. I just pulled up the graphic. Let me do the math. 5 of the 6 top spending teams made the playoffs. Atlanta were the only one who weren't in the playoffs. I think a lot of the spending on TAM level players kind of correlates to having a good team. It's so DP heavy though, and I think that makes it really hard to really compare and contrast teams because it's all thrown out of whack by 2 or 3 players. Miami spend more on their 3 DPs than I think. I don't have. I think 17 teams spend on their entire roster. So if you take 3 players off of Miami's roster, they're towards the bottom of the table. Nashville are in 6th. They spent 53% of their total budget on Sam Surridge, Hani Mukhtar, and Walker Zimmerman. Walker Zimmerman is probably not going to be back next year as a designated player. He's out of contract. So they could sign him to a max TAM deal and have him come back. Theoretically, they could have the exact same roster and be towards the bottom end of the table. So I think it's just the whole DP piece of the puzzle just makes it really convoluted. So I don't think spending dollar for dollar necessarily makes teams good or bad. I think it's hitting on their DPs first and foremost. Typically the teams who are at the top of the spending charts and are good, like Inter Miami nailed their 3 DPs. LAFC only 2 DPs, but they nailed them. Cincinnati, Evander is best 11 type caliber. Even Chicago are 5th. Their DPs have been fantastic. Hugo Kuipers has been awesome. Jonathan Bamba has been really, really good. Nashville have Sam Surridge and Hani Mukhtar. Portland Timbers, they're up there. Their DPs have been really, so if you're going to spend money on big name players, which that's what the whole DP rule is, they have to produce. And so I think it's less of a question of spending and more of a question of if the players that you've already spent on show up. And I mean, that's why Atlanta are 3rd and missed the playoffs, because they spent big on guys who on paper should produce and they didn't.
Yeah, I think Toronto is probably the best recent example. I mean, they had Insigne almost single-handedly put them. I think they were top before Messi came in.
I think they were 2nd after Miami once he showed up.
Yeah, and that that was a unmitigated. That was a total disaster, right? And then you throw Bernardeschi, his $6 or $7 million in there as well. You're spending 20 some odd $1 million on 2 players and you can't make the playoffs. For it's 3 years in a row now. I think that is the interesting thing is it puts so much pressure on the DPs because that is the one area where if you want to spend big, you can spend big. But I think it'd be interesting to see, like you said, if they could expand the regular salary cap or the TAM GAM stuff. I'd rather they just give them more money, right? Just here, just take this much money.